Music ministry is very fundamental.
Okay. And then we did the preparation.
This year was the second year of VBS, following year after COVID, which is led by our senior youths of our church. The theme this year was the armor of God, based on Ephesians chapter 3, 13 verse 17. Now here Paul exhorts the Ephesian church to put on the armor of God against the scheme of the evil one. In fact, the theme was suggested by one of the youths this year. What a relevant theme it was, especially when you look at the time and the era that we are living in now. It was a plan we put together in the first 3 weeks of June with the youths and with some parents and elders. Again, all praise and thanks to God for His presence and guidance through the 3 days of program. The enthusiasm of the youths was very contagious, and in fact the kids were excited and having fun. They want to come back, they want to learn, they want to explore. Again, our main aim for the VBS for the 3 days was to teach the gospel to the kids who have not made a commitment to Jesus Christ, and to the kids who do have made a commitment to make a renewed pledge to follow our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
There's a lot of respect for George Uncle. He brings a lot of different things to the table. He has created something in his own aspect that has brought the VBS to what it is today.
He leads the programs for the VBS. He's very focused in what he does, very hardworking, but knows that everybody has their own focus areas and that there are things that everyone is good at. And so he lets them focus on those attributes.
In terms of decoration, I was able to help out the day before to decorate the hall. It was a long day for all of us who were decorating the hall, but we were able to come out with some really good decorations to decorate the hall. One of the first things we were able to do was make a tent at the entryway. This kind of gave it a more interactive feel as children and parents were able to walk through. They would see a tent which kind of resembled more towards the army theme. It also, at the front of the tent, we were able to make a scroll which said, "Put on the armor of God." This prefaces to what they can expect to be learning from the VBS.
It was good seeing everybody coming in, especially the youths. There were like a few youths who came in, and then we stayed up really late night helping out to make it the best VBS experience possible for them.
We also tried to transform certain places. For example, instead of registration, we had recruitment and Bible boot camp.
Evelyn Chechi definitely helped us a lot in decorations. We dropped off a big piece of cardboard for her, and within no time, in less than a day, she was able to draw out a life-size soldier cutout through which we were able to cut out the face. They were able to stand behind the pop-out and take photos. This was very interactive and fun.
A lot of people had different decorations that they had planned for the hall. Me and Irene were able to create a door and rocks to make like an archway for the hall. So we spent a lot of time painting that days before, but it came out really well. Time-consuming aspects of our decorations was definitely our banner. Our banner took a lot of time for us to do. We had to stick it up on the wall and trace out each letter from the projector and then fill it out later on with Sharpie. This was very time-consuming and it took around 2 hours almost, but we were able to get it done and it looked beautiful in the end. As time went on, things started getting a bit challenging as we all started getting tired. But we were able to finish everything that we planned on doing, and the whole turned out amazing. And I'm sure we can do really good next year as well with what we've learned from this year. And I hope everyone who came to the VBS enjoyed all the decorations that we did.
This year we had most of the kids at the assembly attend the VBS. We also had some visitors, thanks to the kids and parents who brought them along. We had teams assigned for different tasks and responsibility for the smooth running of the 3-day program. I thank Brother Sibi, Joy, Joel, Justin and Jeffin who helped us set up the theological framework of the lessons. We had a group of sisters and youths who helped us teach kids new memory verses. We had a team of youths who also helped us teach new songs, actions based on the armor of God. The youths spent the whole night, in fact, setting up and decorating the place to look the part, look the part and make it look like an army base. We had a team of sisters who coordinated the food, the cleaning for the last 3 days. There was a lot of work gone behind setting up this 3-day program. I thank each one of them. The youth also formulated a really complicated gift system and had games which kept kids motivated and focused till the last day.
This year's VBS was an extraordinary experience that touched our hearts and souls. Through exciting lessons and memory verse, joyful song sessions, as well as the art and crafts of the Armor of God. God enabled me to be a part of the teaching team as teaching the Bible verses to students through music, and I also could help them in the craft works. VBS showed us that we are never alone and that God's love always surrounds us. We even learned valuable lessons about the armor of God, and first of all, I thank the Lord Almighty for making the VBS spiritually blessing for all the youths. I also take this time to thank all the youth leaders and especially Georgie uncle for all their help throughout the VBS. And by these words, may God bless us all.
What makes it special this year is that for the first time, some of us older folks took a step back and let the youths do most of the planning and execution of the VBS. I'm so proud and excited to see the youths take on this commitment of leading the younger kids to the knowledge of God. Their commitment, their excitement and vision was commendable. I believe the future is bright. I had the youths who already come up with the theme for next year. We hope to reach out to all the kids throughout Melbourne. There were a lot of hiccups, not denying that on the way, but this has made our team more stronger and more dedicated.
Well, for me as a child and now, music ministry is very fundamental. Music is a form of worship and a way to connect with God. I find a lot of value in music ministry and wanted to input in it. Regardless of age, we're able to worship God through music, different forms of music. I just wanted to be able to introduce that form of worship to the kids. For this, we had a few action songs related to the theme, through which we were able to reinforce the importance of the armor of God. George Uncle really helped us by picking one of the songs. The song was amazing. Everyone greatly enjoyed the song. The song was called God For Us. It was very encouraging to see that even the parents joined in, and it was very fun. It was definitely a blessing to experience how joyful and enthusiastic the children were during the action songs. Only through God's grace that everything was able to be conducted in such a beautifully arranged VBS. In order to ensure that the performance correlated with interaction, we had to make sure that we ourselves knew the song 100%, and in order to do that we spent a lot of time and stayed up pretty late learning the words as well as the actions. We had to be enthusiastic in teaching, and we saw that as a result the children also replicated the same energy, and it was a blessing to experience this.
Growing up, songs and especially action songs are definitely a highlight of VBS for me, so being able to be a part of that ministry and being able to give back to the future generation is a true blessing. The songs were chosen by Nia, and most of which were theme-based, so that means that a lot of them were fairly new and we had to learn them, so we met up and stayed up late to practice and learn the songs well for the kids. I really enjoyed all these songs, singing and teaching them as well, so I hope the kids did too and that they took something back.
So my role in the music ministry was to be alongside Blessy and Nia up front and help show the actions towards the kids. Adding actions to the songs helped the younger children to understand and memorize the songs that they were learning. With the actions that we were doing, they were able to connect it with the lyrics of the songs, which helped them to better learn and understand the music that they were hearing. Challenges I faced while doing music, I think everyone in the church knows that I only sing, so doing actions was quite hard for me. I don't think I put as much time into learning actions as I should have, so in the upcoming VBS, that is something that I should focus on more. With the actions we chose, we had to make sure that the actions weren't too childish since they were much older kids, but we also had to make sure that the actions weren't too complex since they were younger kids. This was probably our biggest fear while making the actions, but surprisingly and by the grace of God, the children were able to follow through, and not only just the younger kids but also the older kids did the actions well. This was quite refreshing for us to see, as all the work we had put in was being rewarded.
Back when I was in India, VBS was a major part of my relationship with God. This is the main reason why I took up that responsibility. I made sure to teach the kids the context of the memory verses and what the memory verses stood for and where they could apply to it. In VBS, we consisted of a team to help do the memory verse. We consisted of Shane, Bernice Auntie, Jolie Auntie, Irene, Jaren, and Elizabeth Auntie. We came together throughout the 3 days to help the kids learn the memory verses so that they could use it in the later days. So one of our main fears was the kids not interacting and not participating. We countered this by introducing action songs and making them doing puzzle games and where they use their brain and apply their own abilities and skills so that they could have more fun and enjoyment out of the memory verse session.
We made the memory verse into a whole song. We made actions. We started off with the interactive session. We asked the kids where they wanted to go and had a lot of really interesting answers. There was 2 memory verses that we had to teach each day, and so to make sure they really remembered it and not just like forget about it. So for the first memory verse we had, we made a little song and taught the kids the actions so that they would remember it. And then for the second memory verse later that day, we did a little memory game. So we put up the memory verse on the board, taught them the verse, and then took off each word. And they were really engaging. They will put up their hands to say the whole memory verse, and I think it's going to be a really valuable lesson later on in their lives if they learn memory verses now. It's really encouraging to see the children's enthusiasm and all the activities we did for memory verse, and it was really one of the few ways I could use my gifts in the Lord's ministry, and hopefully I can expand on that as the years go by.
Me and Irene were responsible for the crafts for this year's VBS. We both had to do a lot of preparation beforehand. We had to buy a lot of materials and craft items, but it all worked out really well. I believe all the kids enjoyed the crafts that they made. We tried to come up with different activities that catered to all the different abilities of the groups. So the little children made easier crafts and the bigger children made crafts that are a bit more complicated. I really want to thank all the seniors and all the team leaders that helped out. We were given last minute notice, but they were able to understand what the crafts were and help the children out. I also made sure to cater the activities for the story of the day. So if they were learning about the sword of the Spirit of the Word of God, they would make a sword. A challenge that I faced was a lack of time, especially for the older kids. They wanted more time to really perfect whatever activity craft that they were doing. But in the end, everything worked out really well. I was able to gain a lot of knowledge about how to teach little children and how to keep them in their groups and keep them listening. I really enjoyed coming up with creative activities for all of the children, and I would love to do it again for the years to come. I really want to thank Joe Jungle and all the adults who helped make this happen.
So I did this along with Jasmine. So she did all of the planning. Like, she came up with what we had to do and what items each group's at. So we had 4 different age groups, and I was able to help her along with the preparation for it. So we cut out all the stuff and we got everything ready. Like all the crafts, things, materials and stuff. We got it prepared before VBS, and on the actual day we were able to carry it out. It was good to see how each day they had their own little piece and they would come out and they'd be holding it, and it was just amazing to see all of them all together. And I think it was a good experience just being able to have the kids participate in creative activities as well. I think this is something that a lot of us did when we were little as well, and it's like we still have memories of it. It's just a keepsake of our VBS from juniors, and I think this is something they can always look back forward onto when they're older as well. So that was a good experience.
My main focus was on games and constructing points for the VBS. I was partnered with Atul for the games, and our initial challenge was creating games for everyone, but the age group being so varied, so making it fair for everyone to compete. So meanwhile, also making it fun for everyone. I was able to organize the Pop the Balloon and musical chairs, which created a healthy competition between everyone, including the little kids. In order to encourage interaction, we decided to implement a point system through which the children were able to win prizes. Essentially, the more points one has, the greater prizes they were able to gain. Point systems were designed in a way where points are awarded for all the activities, behavior, participation, and cleanliness. The point system worked as a motivator for the kids, to outperform, which therefore increased interaction.
Along with the music ministry, I also took part in the games ministry. I helped Mark to do the games. This was quite a challenging ministry for me and for him because there was a large age group of students that had come. There were kids that were around 3 to 4 years of age, and then there were kids up to 14 years of age, which meant that if we had to do an all-inclusive game, it would be really hard since the older kids would win. To combat this, we chose games that required no skill set. This meant that everyone had a fair chance at the games as long as they were lucky.
I believe VBS is an important outreach ministry of the church, and our youth are the best people to reach out to their generation. I'm excited to be part of this transition and change, and being blessed to be part of this beautiful ministry, raising a godly generation zealous to God. Again, all praises and thanks to God.